You probably know someone like this. They drive an older car, nothing flashy. Their house is decent, but nothing that makes you stop and stare. They shop at regular grocery stores. They don't talk about money much. They definitely don't post their bank account balance online. And yet, somehow, when you really pay attention, something feels different about them. There's a quietness to how they move through life, a certain kind of ease that doesn't come from looking wealthy. It comes from actually being wealthy. And most people walk right past it every single day without realizing what they're looking at. My name is Alex, and I spend a probably unreasonable amount of time thinking about money, the psychology of wealth, and why the people who actually have it almost never look the way we expect them to. Today, I want to talk about 6 signs that someone is secretly wealthy. Not the obvious stuff, not the Ferraris and the private jets. I'm talking about the quiet signs, the ones hiding in plain sight, the ones that, once you see them, you'll start noticing everywhere. Sign number 1. They never talk about money in social situations. Think about the people in your life who talk the most about money. The ones who mention what things cost, who bring up what they earn, who ask what you paid for your car or your holiday or your apartment. Chances are, those people are not the wealthiest ones in the room. Real wealth tends to come with a very specific kind of silence around money. Not because wealthy people are hiding something, but because they simply don't need money to be their personality. When you're financially secure, money stops being a source of anxiety or status or conversation. It becomes just a tool. You use it, it works for you, and you don't need to discuss it over dinner. The people who talk the most about money are almost always the ones who are most stressed about it. And the people who are most secure almost always say the least. Here's something I noticed a long time ago. The genuinely wealthy people I've come across are usually the most comfortable changing the subject when money comes up. Someone will ask what a vacation cost, and they'll just say, "Oh, it was great, you should go." Someone will ask about their car, and they'll say, "It gets me where I need to go." No number, no status game, no flex, just nothing. Because the flex isn't the point anymore. The point is the life underneath the money. And that's actually the first thing that separates people who have real wealth from people who are just doing well and want everyone to know about it. Sign number 2. Their home is comfortable but not impressive. This one confuses a lot of people. We're programmed to think that wealthy equals big house, expensive neighborhood, impressive everything. But the research tells a completely different story. The classic study from the Millionaire Next found that most actual millionaires live in average or modest neighborhoods. About 60% of them own homes worth less than $500,000. Warren Buffett still lives in the same house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. Not because he can't afford better, because he's playing a completely different game than the one most people think wealthy people play. When you're building real wealth, you understand that an oversized house is one of the single biggest obstacles to financial freedom. The mortgage is bigger, the property taxes are bigger, the maintenance costs are bigger, the insurance is bigger. Every square foot of house you don't need is money that could be growing somewhere else. So the quietly wealthy person lives in something comfortable, functional, maybe even a little boring. And they sleep very well in that boring house, because they know what the difference in costs is doing for them somewhere else. Meanwhile, the person in the impressive house is often the most financially stretched person on the block. The house is impressive. The bank account is not. Sign number 3. They are extremely unbothered by expensive things. This one is subtle, and it's one of my favorites to watch for. Most people, when they're around expensive things they can't afford, have a very specific energy. There's a slight self-consciousness, a performance of either wanting it or dismissing it. Either "I'll have that one day" or "I don't care about that stuff." Both reactions are about the thing. The quietly wealthy person has a completely different relationship with expensive things. They look at a luxury car and feel nothing in particular. They see a flashy watch and just move on. They're not impressed. They're not jealous. They're not performing indifference. They genuinely just don't need it to mean anything. And that unbothered quality is very hard to fake. It comes from having already done the math. The The secretly wealthy person has often run the numbers on that luxury car and concluded that the depreciation alone isn't worth it. The moment you drive a new car off the lot, it loses somewhere around 15 to 20% of its value. On a $60,000 car, that's roughly $10,000 gone before you've even reached the first traffic light. They've looked at the expensive watch and calculated what that same money does in an index fund over 20 years. A $10,000 watch left in an index fund for 20 years at 8% annual returns becomes about $46,000. They're not missing out on the thing. They've consciously chosen not to have the thing because they understand what the thing actually costs them in real terms. That kind of informed indifference is very different from not being able to afford it and pretending you don't want it. One of them is settled. The other one is still fighting something. Sign number 4. They talk about time the way most people talk about money. Pay close attention to this one. Most people's biggest financial stress is around money, running out of it, not having enough of it, needing more of it. But the secretly wealthy person's biggest resource concern is almost always time. They'll turn down a perfectly good money-making opportunity because it takes too much of their time. They'll pay extra to have something done rather than do it themselves without any hesitation. They think in terms of what their time is worth per hour, and they make decisions accordingly. They're completely comfortable paying someone to do their groceries, clean their house, or handle their admin if it frees up time for something more valuable to them. Most people find this baffling when they first encounter it. You'll meet someone who seems like they live pretty modestly, and then you'll find out they pay for a cleaner, even though they could easily clean their own place. Or they pay for meal prep, or they pay for a driver sometimes. Not because they're showing off, because they've done the math on their time, and they treat it like the most valuable asset they have. Because for them, it actually is. Money can be made again. Time cannot. And when someone has truly internalized that, it shows up in how they spend both. Sign number 5. They ask different questions about money. When most people are thinking about buying something, the first question is, can I afford the monthly payment? When the secretly wealthy person is thinking about buying something, the first question is, what does this actually cost me when I count everything? What does it cost me in opportunity? What is this same money doing if I put it somewhere else? They've shifted from thinking about affordability to thinking about opportunity cost. And that one shift in how they frame financial decisions explains most of the gap between people who feel wealthy and people who are actually building wealth. You'll also notice they ask things like, what's the return on this? Not in an aggressive investor way, just as a natural reflex. They want to know what they're getting for their money at a deeper level than just the thing itself. A holiday isn't just a holiday. It's a question of what the total cost is versus what the experience is actually worth versus what else that money could do. That doesn't mean they don't enjoy the holiday. It means they've thought about it properly before they committed to it. I've seen this in action, and it never looks like suffering or overthinking. It looks like someone who just naturally pauses before they spend. Not long, just a beat. And in that beat, they're running a version of the numbers. Is this the best use of this money right now? Does this move me toward the life I'm building or away from it? Most people skip that beat entirely and spend first and regret later. The quietly wealthy ones made the beat automatic years ago, and now it costs them almost no effort at all. And that habit of asking the second and third question about every spending decision is something that almost always lives quietly in the background of real financial discipline. Most people stop at the first question. The quietly wealthy ones keep going. Sign number 6. They have a very specific kind of calm around financial bad news. This is perhaps the most telling sign of all. When interest rates go up, or the stock market drops, or there's a recession warning on the news, or something unexpected breaks and needs replacing, watch how different people respond. Most people feel a version of panic. Even people who are doing reasonably well financially feel the anxiety of bad news Because they don't have real margin. They're close enough to the edge that any unexpected change threatens the plan. The secretly wealthy person has a completely different response. They get quiet. They think. They might take a practical step, but they don't panic. This isn't because they don't care about money. It's because they've built genuine financial cushion. Actual margin. Not just an emergency fund, though they absolutely have that too, but a deeper kind of security that comes from having assets that work for them even when their income stops. When you have real passive income, or substantial investments, or a portfolio that generates returns whether you work or not, financial bad news stops being an emergency and starts being just information, something to respond to intelligently, not something to survive. The people around them often misread this calm as detachment or not caring about money, but it's actually the opposite. It's someone who has thought so carefully about money for so long that they've built something that genuinely doesn't require panic to maintain. And then there's the thing that ties all 6 of these signs together, the secret pattern underneath all of it. The person who doesn't talk about money in social situations, who lives comfortably instead of impressively, who is unbothered by expensive things, who values time over money, who asks deeper questions, who stays calm during financial bad news, that person is almost always doing one thing very consistently that most people are not. They're treating savings and investing as non-negotiable. Not as what's left over after they've spent, as the first thing. The automatic, non-negotiable, happens before anything else thing. The Millionaire Next research showed that actual wealth accumulators invest at minimum 15% of their income before they pay for anything else. They pay themselves first, every single time, without exception, without emotion. The spending that everyone else sees is what happens with what's left after that. That's the real secret. And it looks boring from the outside. There's no moment where someone becomes secretly wealthy. There's no dramatic event or lucky break that most of these people had. There's just years and years of the same quiet decision made consistently, invisibly, without fanfare. The person in the older car didn't stay in the older car because they can't afford better. They stayed because they already ran the math on what better cost them in real terms and decided it wasn't worth it. The person in the comfortable but not impressive house isn't modest because they have to be. They're modest because they understand that every upgrade to their lifestyle is a trade they're making, and they're only willing to make trades they've consciously chosen. Here's what I want you to take from this. The signs of real wealth are almost always the opposite of what our culture tells us to look for. We're trained to look at the car, the watch, the bag, the house, the holiday photos. But those things are almost never the signal. The signal is in the quietness, in the calm, in the unbothered energy, in the questions they ask, in the way they talk about time, in the way they don't talk about money. Real wealth doesn't perform. It doesn't need to. That's actually the whole point of it. My name is Alex, and the reason I think about this stuff is because I believe most of the financial patterns people are stuck in are completely invisible to them. Not because they're bad with money, but because nobody ever pointed out what they're actually looking at. Now you know what to look for. The question is whether you recognize any of those patterns in yourself and which direction they're pointing. Drop a comment and tell me, which of these 6 signs surprised you the most? Because this is the kind of conversation that I think changes how people actually think about money in their real life. And if you want more of this, hit subscribe. We're going to keep doing exactly this. I'll see you in the next one.